Hello and welcome to La Mesa on Latino USA TV. I'm your host, Frank Luna. Today's conversation is 20 years in the making. In the late 1960s, a young man traveled from New York City with his family and started taking classes at Phoenix College. And he discovered a spark that would change the world of contemporary art. That student was Eric Fischl. Today, Eric Fischl is a global icon, a master whose works hang in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Museum of Modern Art, and the Whitney Museum of American Art. To the art world, he's a powerhouse. But to Phoenix, he's the man who never forgot his roots. For 20 years, through the Fischl Vanguard Award and Lecture Series, a program he established in honor of his alma mater, Phoenix College, Eric is the padrino to the next generation, investing his prestige to ensure students who study art have a seat at the table. Sitting across from him is the living proof of that investment. Francisco Enuf Garcia, the popular Chicano muralist, painter, and 2008 Vanguard winner. Francisco has taken the lessons of the masters from the past 2 decades and scaled them into the very walls of our city and across continents. We have the global icon and Arizona hero. Gentlemen, welcome to La Mesa.
Thank you, Frank.
Eric, I'll start with you for our first question. You've said Phoenix College was where you were first allowed to be an artist. Tell us about what it was like for you when you first found your place at PC doing art as a student, and the decision to return decades later in 2005 when you started the Fischl Vanguard Award and the lecture series.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to be here today to talk with your audience and to talk with Francisco and see him again, etc.
Cool.
So I started to take art classes at Phoenix College, not because I thought I was an artist, but because I wanted to meet girls. And I'd already flunked out of college once and knew that the academic program was not my best or strongest suit. Mm-hmm. So I enrolled in art classes thinking that if you're bad, they still give you a C. You know, you're not going to fail the arts. And instead, I found something I didn't know I was looking for, which was an entirely different relationship to myself and to the way that I express myself and engage the world.
Sure.
And so it was a very significant life change for me. And I knew that it was something that felt so right that I knew all I wanted to do was do it the rest of my life.
Sure.
I just had to get better at it. And so that's what I set myself to do, was to be good as I could possibly be doing the thing that I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed along the way to meet people who were angels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they saw something in me long before I saw it in myself, kept pushing me forward, opening some doors, et cetera, and I felt very blessed to have that as part of my story. So,
now, talking about your decision to return years later to start the Vanguard Award in 2005, talk to us a little bit about that, Eric.
Yeah, well, at a certain point, I had enough success, financially success, that I knew I needed to do something with the money to make it feel like the journey was of great value to me. And I felt that if I could come from Phoenix College and get to where I got to, other people could as well. It's just a matter of trying to get them to start seeing the value in themselves, what they do, and promote that. Also to introduce them to a much larger community than the one that they had, previously experienced, by bringing renowned artists from internationally renowned artists to Phoenix to be the jurors for the awards and stuff like that.
And now, speaking about the actual Vanguard Award, it's is a significant cash prize, but it's really a multifaceted opportunity for students, and a great opportunity. And over the years, students have lauded it, as well as the faculty. Tell us about what else the students experience when they receive the Vanguard Award.
Well, the structure of the award is such that their work is exposed to highly successful artists who, again, see something in what they're doing that warrants attention and reward. And so they have that as part of the experience. The other thing is that the way it's structured is the work on the day of where the artist, the invited artist, gives a lecture at the Phoenix Museum of Art. The students' work is brought over and displayed in and around other, great works of art. And I think that has an immediate impact, visual impact, because not only can the students see that they belong there, that this is a place where they found their equals. They just had to, earn it. They had to get better at doing it. But the other thing is, their family, their friends, their posses, their whatever, they see it as well. That a lot of the experience I've had with the students comes from them feeling like they don't know where their place is. They're not understood for the thing that drives them the most, and so all of a sudden they see they're actually a part of a larger community that gets them, and that they can be there if they want to be and stuff. So I think it's a tremendous reinforcement of their qualities.
And just to share a little bit of words of from the faculty over the years at Phoenix College, they have said that what you have given the students over the years through the program, have said that the program has had a positive influence, that Eric, you and the guests that have come with you, the lecturers, have given ongoing support, accessibility, consistently provided our students over the years, and by extension through the Vanguard Award and lecture series and the Scholars Program, given students great confidence and self-belief in the students and their capacity as artists by validating their creative efforts. And that comes straight from the faculty.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
So it's wonderful. Francisco, in the Latino community, pursuing art can sometimes feel like a luxury or a risk even. But when you won the Vanguard Award in 2008, you said it was like receiving validation from Eric about your talent as an artist. How did that validation impact your life?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm grateful for Eric and the vision that he had for giving back to Phoenix College and our community. And it's impacted our community in a large way, because not only have I been impacted by these opportunities, but also other peers as well. And they give back to the community as well. So I remember that year. And honestly, when I applied to the Eric Fischl scholarship, I'm grateful that you also helped me to learn how to apply to scholarships. And I remember it said on the application you had to be an arts major to apply. And at the time, I needed financial aid, because that was my first or second year. And I put, well, my art major is art, even if it's just for that application. And so when I got the award, I remember they said, hey, come to the Phoenix Art Museum. You're going to receive an award. And I thought, oh, maybe I'm just going to get like third place because they had first, second, third, and then the Vanguard. And then I heard my name, and it was Eric talking about the art, and I received Eric Fischl Vanguard, and I just remember being shocked and excited, went to receive the award, and that made me believe, like, man, maybe I can do something with this art. And from there, that same year, I went to study abroad in Mexico, whom I was also inspired by Martin Moreno and his story about going back to the roots and learning about the culture. And man, that just changed my life because my family traveled to Mexico, Mexicali, but I never traveled on my own, especially deep down South Mexico, and just learning about the cultura and Chicano studies. During that time, it just brought everything together, and it made me believe, like, wow, I could do something with this art,
Sure. How did that change the way that your family saw you?
Man, it was rough for a long time. I think my family still didn't really believe in my dream, and I had a lot of resistance because in the Latino community or Chicano community, art is not viewed as a career.
Right.
If you're not working hard, busting your ass, truck driving or doing some sort of labor, you don't have a job. So for a long time, even though I got an art residency in India and I told my dad, hey, Dad, guess what? I got this cool opportunity in India. He's like, what? You got a job? And it's like, no, Dad, I'm invited to this residency. It's like a huge thing. So I think that in a lot of our community, our parents think old school.
Sure.
And so that's why it's important for opportunities like the Eric Fischl Vanguard, like the Phoenix Art Museum, and people like yourselves to support the Latino community, the younger generation, because I believe that we're breaking that mold and we're trailblazing something new. Maybe not so new because there's others that have paved the way, but to continue the torch.
Yeah. Well, you certainly have blazed the trail that Eric started. So thank you for that, Francisco. We're going to take a short break and then continue our conversation with Eric Fischl and Francisco Garcia.
This segment brought to you by Gutierrez Law Firm.
Hola, mi gente. I'm attorney Francisco Gutierrez and a proud sponsor of Arizona Barrio Stories. I grew up in the Enuf barrio, and I've been practicing law now since 1984. Experience really does matter. If you've been injured by someone, call me. Let's talk.
Welcome back to La Mesa. Eric, your current exhibition at the Phoenix Art Museum, Stories Told, features 40 massive works that explore what you call the presence of an absence, those deep things we feel but don't always see. Looking back over the past 20 years, has the Vanguard program and lecture series filled an absence that was missing in the Phoenix art scene back in 2005, do you think?
Well, I can't speak directly to, in great detail to the impact of the program on the Phoenix art world in general. It certainly has done a tremendous amount for me personally in terms of giving me a greater sense of purpose and what both the arts are for and the ambition to expand into an engagement with a broader public and stuff like that. So it is the fact that the museum, Phoenix Art Museum, got involved with our little program very early on was huge. I mean, that they saw a way of opening up avenues deeper into the community that they've been trying to engage, I think was fantastic, and they've been very supportive and helpful in a lot of ways. So,
yeah, absolutely. As people walk through your show at the museum, how do you hope they see the same presence and tangible impact living in the next generation of artists like Francisco?
Well, I mean, first of all, I hope they see me as the greatest artist that ever lived.
Oh, they already do. We already do.
And short of that, just kidding for your audience, just
No.
kidding.
We're not.
But in terms of, you know, I don't think the American public in general, and certainly the community that I come out of, has a comfortable relationship to art. I think they don't quite know why they're looking at it, seeking it out. I mean, they have a more comfortable relationship to more popular forms of art like cinema or music or things along those lines. But when it comes to the visual arts, I don't think they know quite how to see what they're seeing and internalize it. Mm-hmm. And also the problem that the art world has is that it's perceived as an elitist activity. It's perceived as something that only the very rich, it's all about the rich, you know, it's so forget it kind of thing, which is a tragedy, and it's something that artists need to work against to make it even clearer that no, this is about all of us and our lives and ways of, you know, let me just say that the real talent that artists have is the ability to organize chaos. And for the visual arts, it's the ability to organize chaos into a rational visual language, so that we can and a smaller, reductive, bite-size, you know, morsel of reality that we can handle. And it's also important that people see themselves in the work that is being presented and stuff. So that's the ambition that I've always had for my work. I don't try to speak for everybody.
Right.
In my work, I speak out of my direct experience. Try to understand the things that I experienced and that I know, and find a way to make it poignant enough that somebody looking at it, even though they haven't had the same experience, can recognize the human experience within that. And so that's the ambition. In terms of, you know, the way the public would see it in Phoenix, I would hope that they see that it is, even though they don't come from the same place I come from, that it still opens up an experience for them that's meaningful.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Francisco, your murals are the opposite of an absence. They're loud, vibrant in their presence. How do those foundational lessons of figurative art translate when you're painting images of a community on a 50-foot wall?
Yeah, I think that, you know, looking back at graffiti art, that was my introduction to painting. You know, we didn't have a lot of resources growing up. We had a pencil and paper, and I remember getting those little awards as a kid. And then 7th grade, got into trouble, went into this class where you would be there all day, and the teacher was really cool, Miss Gonzalez. She was a white teacher. Miss Gonzalez was awesome. She took us to theater, taught us different mediums. That carried on to graffiti, you know, painting. And then when I went to Phoenix College, I started learning about art history. and Chicano studies and the muralism movement, right? The Mexican muralist movement. And I realized that some of those artists were some of the first artists to paint murals in America, aside from the indigenous people that had been painting murals.
Sure.
And so just learning all these histories and the meaning of muralism and how it's available to the public and how they spread messages through the art. Artists have used it in different ways. And so during that time, I merged from graffiti into activism.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, you know, I remember working at this telemarketing place, and I had the newspaper of the sheriff with the gun and the barrel.
Mm.
And I heard that this lady got her arm broken by a sheriff in front of her yard because of the color of her skin. And so I thought, man, we got to do something about this. And so started sketching out this mural. And then I got some friends together, and we ended up painting that mural at a mechanic shop. And it was an anti-Arpaio mural.
Mm.
And ever since then, I thought, man, I got to try to represent and speak for our people, because at the time, I didn't see many artists doing that. And so I didn't even think, oh, clients might not buy the art. People might,
Right.
you know, you might get haters
Right.
and things like that. But I just thought, man, I need to do something.
Sure.
And nobody's really doing it. And I just got to put it out there. And I just remember since then, you know, I got some news coverage from like CNN, films, like Spare Parts. And, you know, I started getting attention from different places. And I was like, oh, okay. Some people resonate with the message. And of course, you'll see the comments and then you see a lot of people hating. But to me, it was like this painting, for example, it says who's illegal now. It has a Native American. And that type of imagery got people having dialogue. And so I think that's an important thing too that art does, is sometimes you live on a day-to-day like routine, and sometimes people say, hey, when I see your mural, I pass by it every day, or that Jesus Saves mural, it just brings so much hope. Or somebody might say, hey, that represents somebody that was crossing the desert, or it looks like a homie from the neighborhood.
Right.
Somebody actually passed away on that street corner.
Right.
I bumped into somebody when I had my first little solo show, and this person came up to me and said, hey, you know that Jesus mural? And I said, yeah, I painted it. He's like, you're the artist? He's like, yeah, one of the guys from the neighborhood got shot and killed there. And so when I look back at the art, I kind of feel like it brought restoration to that neighborhood. And I remember painting that painting, and I had people come up. They would, you know, there's a lot of alcoholism and things like that, and addictions in that area. And I felt like when I was painting the Jesus painting, it brought some sort of like healing.
Yeah.
And not me, but like sharing the image of the painting. And so that painting was inspired by Thomas Blackshear, but I did it in my own rendition, in my own interpretation.
Your own style.
And so I think that, you know, taking back from the masters in the Renaissance and artists like Eric Fischl, you get inspired, right, by the figurative, the realism, and sharing the story. And I think it's awesome that we're able to like inspire each other. And I've definitely been inspired by Eric's works. I mean, they're so big, they're impactful. Like as soon as you see it, you'll know, man. Like, that's official. I seen one of his paintings in Seattle when this other artist was showing, and right away, like, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Wow. Excuse me, Eric. When you founded the Vanguard program, you were looking for the leaders of the next creative movement. Now, 20 years later, the most compelling voices, some of the most compelling voices, are coming out of your alma mater, are largely coming from the Latino community. What does that tell us about where the new and emerging talent of American art is coming from today?
You know, first of all, I wasn't keeping score with who was, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And when you told me that half of the awardees were Latino, I thought, wow, that's wonderful. I mean, that's a bonus on top of everything else. what it tells me was that there's not only a drive within the community to enter into a broader conversation with the world through the authenticity of their experience, but it's precisely the mining of that authenticity that is going to make the impact on the world, and especially in America, right now.
Sure.
And so I find it very exciting. I mean, I'm inspired always listening to Francisco talk about where he was coming from, what he was trying to give back, how it was affecting the community. Actually surprised that he felt that his family didn't sort of naturally get the arts being that important to the community, because from the outside, I think it's a much more integrated relationship that the Hispanic community has to the arts.
Right.
And anyway, but the thing is that what I believe and what I have to believe in order to keep going myself is that people come to art looking for authenticity.
Right.
And if you can show them that this is coming from a real place with real feelings, sincere, honest, direct, et cetera, as well as poignant, beautiful, masterful, all of the qualities of the artistry of the making, that people naturally respond to it. They take it in a way that they don't take in the frivolous or the insincere.
Yeah. Well, very well spoken. Francisco, you represent that organic shift that we're talking about. Many see Eric as a global icon, and you as an Arizona and community hero. You both speak the same language about the human figure. How has Eric's mentorship helped you bridge the gap between our local neighborhoods and the worldview presented in Eric's exhibition, Stories Told?
Yeah, I think mentorship is a huge opportunity, and I think that just seeing Eric's trajectory, and how he started at Phoenix College and has gone to the East Coast and traveled to museums, and he's sold, many large pieces of artwork. That's inspiring, to know, like a professional artist doing it in a bigger scale, than Arizona. I mean, in Arizona, you have a lot of awesome artists that have been also mentors to me. With Eric, I believe that you have to have different types of mentors, right? As a brown person, I remember coming to Phoenix. Judy Bviens was a mentor to me, and she was this white lady that had a Jewish background, and I couldn't understand why she was trying to help me growing up. She inspired me to go back to Phoenix College. And then there was Martin Moreno, who came from a Chicano background. But it's important as a brown person to see brown male role models doing something positive or impactful. Right. And so as artists, I believe that we need colored mentors, and we also need mentors that don't look like us, because we get to learn a worldview. And I think that, that just changed, it changed my life, because from that trip, I thought, well, if I went to Mexico, now I could go to other countries. I kind of applied to other opportunities, like the residency in India, or have gone to Europe to paint with other muralists, to different parts of the world. And growing up, I always heard from teachers, "What are you doing, Francisco? Pay attention. Art's not going to get you anywhere." I always heard that from my teachers or sometimes my own father. And so I love my dad and everything, but just growing up and hearing those things, it could be hurtful. And as an artist, you have to surpass all the no's, the obstacles, and kind of push. And so having people like Eric by your side rooting for you, or other mentors like yourself helping students out to apply to scholarships. Now as a older person or working in this type of career, I'm able to apply to RFPs, RFQs, grants. And so it's just awesome to have a community behind you to root you on. And so now we, as artists, we got to give back. We got to give back. We have to be responsible and either represent culture, teach other artists, pass the baton, give scholarships, or give advice, or we have to be able to give back and give voice to those that can, speak. Yeah.
Well, kudos to you, Francisco, for being open and just to receiving that advice from everywhere that you got it, because that's what's allowed you to grow like that. So, Eric, I just have to ask you, talk to us about the mentor who first inspired you.
I was fortunate enough when I went to Phoenix College that one of the art teachers there was Merrill Mahaffey. Merrill is an amazing painter, amazing painter of the Southwest. But his inspired teaching comes from an irreverence that he had to the sort of fixed ideas of what constitutes creativity. And so he was somebody that would always push me to expand my definition, and by expanding my definition, trying to find different ways of doing something, to see things differently. He also came out of sort of an ironic kind of humor about the world in general, and that was very refreshing. It was oddly upbeat but irreverent, and so there was that kind of undercurrent. Why you're making what you're making was to be disruptive in a positive way. And I carried that inspiration forward from that. So
well, we're glad that Merrill was there for you. Because
well, I have to say that my experience has been that all along the road, I've been blessed by angels. And the people like Merrill Mahaffey being one of the people that see something in you before you're able to see it, and they encourage, they open some doors, that kind of thing. So I take it as an absolute blessing that he was there at the beginning.
Phoenix College was very unique with so many people like that. I share that with you. As we close our interview. Our last question, we like to close with our loteria question. And I'm sure you've noticed the dozen or so cards in front of you. There's a card game, Mexican card game that's been around for quite a while. And I've curated some cards from that game. And the best way I can describe loteria, it's kind of the loosely compared to bingo, the American game bingo. And but I've just taken a few cards with images on them, and you've probably been looking at them throughout the interview and wondering what the heck is this for. So, but no worries. I'd like you to just take a look at the cards again, and it's a simple question that I just like you to each take a look and pick the card that speaks to you of the image on there, and I'm gonna. And go ahead and select a card if you'd like. And I'll ask you something in a moment here about that. Okay. So let's start with Francisco. And you want to hold up the card to your camera. Okay. And you tell the folks what you picked.
Yeah. So I picked El Corazón, and it means the heart. And I chose...
Tell us why you picked it.
El Corazón because this reminds me of when I accepted Jesus in my heart back in 2004. I was doing graffiti, got into trouble, got into fights, got jumped. And I remember I was at a crossroad like, man, do I keep doing this, you know, I see my friends getting in trouble and going to jail and stuff. Or do I give my life to God? And when I allowed God into my heart, I felt like angels flew for me. I mean, angels were picking me up, or like spirits flew. I feel like birds flew out of me.
Wow.
And so ever since then, I felt the love of a father. And, you know, I've always had a dad around, but he didn't have a dad. And so he didn't, I think that he tried his best.
Okay.
But having the love of God in your heart, man, it just, it brought color into my life. I had anxiety attacks, depression. All that stuff went away, and then I went back to school, and the trajectory changed in my life.
Wow.
But it also, to me, represents the lucha, las ganas from our people.
Okay.
And so that also inspires me is when I see our people fighting and not giving up and being activists and fighting for, you know, humanity or
the
life.
the willpower.
Yeah, like just seeing them, like, you know, work hard for their dreams, that also motivates me as well.
Okay. Wow, that's very powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric, tell us what you picked, and it looks like
I picked La Escalera.
Right. The ladder.
The ladder.
Tell us what inspired you to pick that card.
For me, there's two ways to go in life. One is to go up, and the other is to go down.
Right.
And if you choose the path of trying to go up, which is a difficult journey and a frustrating one, the image of a ladder against a wall, I think, is very important. It's one, because we always come up against the wall. And then as creative people, we try to find a way to get through the wall, over the wall, etc. And the important part of it is that you try to get over the wall. Right. And so obviously the ladder represents that aspirational ambition for me to keep going up, to keep trying harder, to get over the obstacles, etc.
Wow. Very insightful. Thank you, Eric. That's great. You've certainly climbed a tall ladder and just done such wonderful work. And we thank you for everything that you've done for the community, done for Phoenix College and the students for such a long time. You've built a legacy and done it all from a very good place, in the goodness of your heart. You've been an angel to everyone, and we appreciate it. We love you very much.
Well, thank you so much.
Folks, between now and June 14th at the Phoenix Art Museum, please visit Eric Fischl Stories Told, and it's a phenomenal exhibition, and don't miss it. Thank you both gentlemen for being here, spending your time with us, and sharing your journeys and your expertise. It's a great story.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and we'll see you next time on La Mesa.